Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So, I had a question somebody asked me, and the question was, can you use Hero 2's parts with a He-Man body? So, they're more concerned about the arms themselves. Now, the first thing you'll notice is the coloring is quite a bit different on these figures, so it's kind of hard to do. And if you were going to swap these, let's say you wanted to use the bracers right here, you may have to do a color paint on here in order to match He-Man. Now, this right here is actually He-Man's body with a swapped loincloth and a swapped head and swapped armor, but it actually is He-Man, you can see. And even from one He-Man figure to another, there is some slight color variations, as you can see. So, let's go ahead and do some swapping and see how it looks. Now, two ways you can swap this. You cannot switch the shoulder out, which would be nice if you could, but either the bicep or the wrist, or not the wrist, I'm sorry, the elbow right here. Now, you could also pull the hand off too. So let's say you just wanted to have this gauntlet on your He-Man figure. You'd swap it here, then swap the hand. So let's go ahead and do that on this side. So I have some hot water sitting here. Let's go ahead and put this figure in there and get his hand off and his arm. We'll do the same to Hero 2 as well. And this usually takes about a good 2 or 3 minutes for it to sit in there, for it to get to the right temperature for the plastic. I'll just hold that right there. Let me see if I can get that to stay up on its own. Stay in there. It's funny, the other one stays in there, but this one just does not want to comply. Let's put his arm down. See if that works better. Hold on a second. Come on, Hero 2. Now, you'll probably notice my Hero 2 is the wrong head on it. I just wanted to get some head on there because this figure was just sitting in a box waiting to be used for spare parts. So I just stuck on Hero 1's head because the color matched. Now, while we're waiting, for those that saw my Hordak video yesterday, I talked about sanding off this red right here on there. And I'll show you how it worked before the red was sanded off. If you didn't sand it off, you go to put the part in there, and first of all, it's hard to get on there, but then when you go to twist it, it's just super tight, and you can't spin it freely. So that's why I was saying to sand this off and sand that hole a little larger, and then when you put it on, you can then freely spin it. So that's what I was talking about yesterday. And if you want to put some light oil there too, even spin even better, but not totally necessary. But I just wanted to share this while we're waiting for our parts to heat up. Because again, it takes a while for these parts to heat up and have the heat propagate through the whole entire figure. Parts. Alright. Let's go ahead and see if the first one is ready at all. And look at that, it sure enough is. Now, whenever you swap a part, you want to leave the pin in the arm part. That way you keep track of what happened to it. Actually, I take that back. You want to leave the pin with the elbow or that it came with. That way you can keep track of it. There you go, otherwise you might lose it. So a lot of times I'll just pop this back in. Let's go ahead and pull the hand off too while we're here. I guess you didn't see that. Herp. So when it gets really nice and hot, it's really easy to pull the parts apart. You just pop that right off. And then to get this apart, I just pried it apart, and then it popped right off as well. Alright, let's check out Hero 2 and see if he has softened up enough to do this. So again, you just pluck the hand out, open this up, and then pull this right out. Now, here's where we got to make a decision. Normally, I would keep this pin with the forearm. But since you're going to paint later, you may want to use the darker pin. But I'm just going to use this right here so you guys can see what it looks like for the coloring. Because sometimes it's not too bad, even though it's not the same. And it is kind of a pain to get this back in place sometimes. And it may take some extra heating. So let me go ahead and try to stretch this around. Around town. And yeah, it's going to take some more heating. Let's just go and pop that back in there. And while we're doing that, I'm going to actually pull off the bicep side on this one so you can see the difference on the two arms and how it looks for your personal custom. Let me go and pull off this armor so it's not in the way. I'm surprised how good that matches with the skin color. I might just keep that on there and make another hero that uses Hero 2's armor. Okay, let's go ahead and drop him in there. And again, you gotta make sure the hot water is all the way up to the bicep for this to work. Stay. Let me go and use this paintbrush so I can push this on better. Usually I have a nice spot to push this on in my bathroom that has a hardened tiles corner that can get this on a whole lot easier, but since I don't have that available to me right here in this room, I'll try to use the paintbrush to do the same thing. Okay, let's go ahead and throw this back in and heat it up some more as it's just being a stinker. And we'll pull this guy off at the bicep for the other arm. There we go. Actually, I'm going to pull his hand off too. There's a corner of this table over here that you can't see off camera to shove it on. That just makes life a little easier to do. Come on, you can do it. Hold on a second, it's almost there. I may have to use the other pin. I don't know if it's long enough or not. Oh, there we go. Hooray! And let's go ahead and put He-Man's hand back on there. Poor Hero 2. Oh, my arms. There we go. And so now you can see how it's just a lighter color skin right there on the forearm. Let's go and pull his bicep off now. I'm going to stir this water because the bottom seems like it's hotter than the top. There we go, and he's sitting in there getting ready. It's a bummer it takes so long for the heat to propagate through the parts. So you guys are stuck watching this. I know I probably could edit it out, but lucky you guys have the fast forward button if you're not watching this as a premiere. This is just to answer somebody's question. This is not my typical video. Ugh. Oh. I dropped the wrong arm in there. That's right. We're doing this one. I was thinking we were putting He-Man's arm onto Hero 2 instead of Hero 2's arm onto He-Man. Now again, this is not He-Man's head, obviously, but it does match nicely for the skin. And that's the hardest part about doing customs is the skin changes colors, or not changes colors, but it's just so different between figure to figure. Even look at King Grayskull, for instance, and He-Man's skin color. His is a little lighter in color, but not as light as Hero 2. It's even lighter than that. So when you're doing customs, sometimes it's kind of tough to get just the right mix to have things work. All right, let's go ahead and pull that arm out of there. There we go, and the hand. All right, so you can see now the color difference. And it's not drastic. I suppose if you had it on a shelf somewhere in the backs when you might not notice that the bicep's a different color. Again, you just put a light kind of brownish wash on it and it might fix your problem. But it is slightly noticeable that it is different. So there you go. And sure enough, if you put this onto Hero 2, you will have the same issue as well with the color difference. There you go. It's like he has a farmer's tan almost. He's been wearing a t-shirt out in the sun. Let's put his gloved hand on there. Oop. Alright, so there you go. I'm going to spend time putting these guys back to normal. But that's all I have for you guys today on this. Hopefully it answers your question on swapping the parts with Hero 2 and how it will look. Again, this one is from the bicep down, it's Hero 2 except for the hand. On this side here, from the elbow down is Hero 2 except for the hand. So if you wanted just to use those gauntlets on there, that's kind of how it would look. Now personally, I would just do it from the elbow down on both sides for the gauntlets. I wouldn't have the bicep in here. And then I put a light brown wash on here just to try to change the color a little bit. Alright, anyway, that's all I got. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye now.